On this episode of the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast, I'll be covering another original Prince vocal track that was ultimately given to another artist. The song I'm covering today is Train. Train was recorded in early July 1986 at Prince's Galpin Boulevard home studio in Chanhassen, Minnesota. And according to Prince Vault, Prince's version was included on a July 1986 configuration of Dream Factory. And of course, Dream Factory was going to be the next Prince and the Revolution album after Parade. But once Prince broke the Revolution up, the Dream Factory project fell apart. So Prince put his focus into a new project, a new LP, the behemoth that was going to be Crystal Ball, a 3 LP set that incorporated some songs from Dream Factory, some new songs that ultimately found their way onto Sign of the Times or the Black Album. But nonetheless, Train, for whatever reason, was never on any early configuration or any unreleased official versions of Crystal Ball that Prince had shopped around before changing the scope of what that record would be. So now we got to flash forward a couple of years. In 1988, Prince was working with Mavis Staples on her Paisley Park Records debut, which would ultimately be called Time Waits for No One. And he submitted this song along with several others for her consideration and feedback. Mavis then chose to record Train for that Time Waits for No One album, which was then released in May of 1989 on Paisley Park Records. So the song appears to be sung from the perspective of a person who's experiencing relationship troubles. I'll use the pronoun he for this version since we're talking about Prince's vocal version, of course. He's expressing his concern and reservations about the direction that the love affair is moving in, and he feels it's reached a crossroads of sorts. Stay with me and work on what's been troubling her or, them as a couple. Work on strengthening that relationship, get to the root of the issue, or the other choice at this point in the crossroads is let her go. Quite literally using the train metaphor, train leaving in the morning to say goodbye for good. And I think trains to me feels like a very American symbol. I know obviously there are trains elsewhere in the world, but in the United States, the locomotive was a symbol of freedom, exploration, the ability to take the relatively new country that was the United States in the late 1800s and explore it. It's a big country, and most of the country was unexplored, uninhabited, and the advent of the locomotive and trains in general allowed people to explore the rest of the country, the West, traveling west, settling west, the gold mining towns that were popping up in the West, people looking for a different way of life than what they had been experiencing out in the East Coast. And in this case, the train is used as a symbol for travel and for starting anew. Which is what a lot of these settlers did, or these ambitious young businessmen and women wanted to do by allowing the train to permit them the opportunity to start somewhere new, start somewhere fresh. And that's kind of what this song is implying. Prince is suggesting this girlfriend of his, this lover of his, has an opportunity to do if she no longer wants to be with him. Start fresh somewhere else. And you can debate why does she have to leave? Like, why does she have to start a new life somewhere else? Why can't it be in the same city and just running in different circles or trying not to interact anymore? But I think, again, the metaphor is, if we're going to end this relationship, you're going to go away. And I won't be, tempted to see you. You won't be tempted to see me. Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia, is another song in this long line, this long tradition of trains being used to symbolize freedom and the ability to start fresh somewhere else. Or, a symbolism of a relationship that is at a crossroads. Whether or not the train is going to bring someone who's been away for so long back to their lover, back to their significant other, or if the train is leading someone away for good. That train, more so than an airplane, although airplanes have also been used, but feels like trains have been used longer in recorded music because of how long the trains have kind of been a symbol of this in the United States, at least. Cars, planes, leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again. Like, those are obviously very well-known songs that express the same sentiment, but I think there are fewer of them in our historical musical context. Looking back into the history of recorded music, there's probably fewer of those planes and automobiles, but the trains have been around longer than both. So that's just my kind of take on the symbolism of trains in music. So let's get into the lyrics, but one thing I will comment on is there's a chugging train noise or sound that occurs throughout the song. Whether you like that or don't like that, it's a moot point because it's there and you can't do anything about it. So the preface of the song, you hear Prince speaking lines, "Come on, man, get your bags. We got to go. Man, tell that girl goodbye. Let's get out of here." So those lines make it sound like, there's this emotional support friend that's trying to convince Prince, in this case, the singer, that this is for the best. This decision is for the best for her to leave. But then the lyrics kind of betray that a little bit. So in the first verse, he goes, "I want to talk to you." And in the background, you hear him say, "Talk to you. I said I want to talk to you about this love affair. Is it really true?" In the background, "Really true? Tell me, is it really true that you don't care? Seem like every day seem like every day, you grow farther away. Tell me, what can I say to make you stay?" So is it really true that you don't care? So I think that line tells us that he's confronting her about either a rumor that he's heard or some feeling that he's had deep down, and he finally wants to clear the air. He wants her to stay, but also doesn't want to continue the relationship if she's no longer in love with him. If she no longer loves him, he's willing to let her go. And that is basically what I'm getting from this first verse, is him trying to just spark the conversation, confront her with this feeling that he's got. There's a pre-chorus, a couple of lines in the pre-chorus, "And if you really don't love me anymore, I just don't know what to say." And then the chorus proper is, "There's a train that's leaving in the morning that will take you straight to Santa Fe. If you feel the thing we got just can't go on, then I won't stand in your way. I won't stand in your way." And he repeats that again. So in the chorus, he suggests that she get on a train to Santa Fe, which is an odd location for him to suggest, unless she's from there or knows people there. But I think, again, Santa Fe is a city in the West. It's in New Mexico, so that fits, again, the train metaphor that I was speaking to, or the symbolism of the train speaking to earlier, where trains were critical to the exploration of the United States West. Plus, from Minneapolis, Santa Fe would be a long ways away. Santa Fe is down south, southwestern part of the United States. Minnesota is way up north central part of the United States. So it wouldn't just be around the corner or down, next state over. It's a distance. It's quite a significant distance. So again, this metaphor fits by picking a faraway city that brings, I guess, some finality and gravity to the option to take this train away from here, wherever here is, if we assume it's Minneapolis. The second verse of the song, I'm so in love with you, you're all I want to be. Whenever you go away, baby, you take a part of me, yes you do. A man gotta do what he gotta do, but remember, baby, wherever you go, I'm with you. Oh, I'll be with you, 'cause I need you. So this feels more like one last plea, one last chance to state his case, although it's mostly just him telling her how much she means to him, not really trying to understand why she's pulling away. Like, again, getting to the root cause of this, like what is the cause of her pulling away, making him feel like she doesn't love him anymore. But he loves her, and he doesn't want her to go. This is very clear to me in these two verses and in the chorus. But he also doesn't want to be in a one-sided relationship. Nobody does. That doesn't feel good, to be in a one-sided relationship where you're doing all the giving and you feel like the person that you're in the relationship with is only kind of biding their time. So Prince says here, whenever you go away, you take a part of me. That reminds me of a line from the Paul Young hit from 1985, Every Time You Go Away, which of course was originally written by Daryl Hall and recorded by Hall & Oates in 1980, but it was Paul Young's cover version in 85 that really kind of catapulted that song into mainstream consciousness. But that line reminds me of that. In the song Every Time You Go Away, he says, every time you go away, you take a piece of me with you. Prince says, whenever you go away, baby, you take a part of me. Yes, you do. So very similar sentiments, similar structure of those lines. It's not verbatim, though. But it just reminds me of that, so I thought I'd bring it up. We get into the chorus again, and if you really don't love me anymore, I just don't know what to say. There's a train that's leaving in the morning that will take you straight to Santa Fe. If you feel the thing we got just can't go on, I won't stand in your way. I won't stand in your way. Again, I think Santa Fe is just a easy rhyme scheme. Like it fits with say and stay and away and Santa Fe. Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Seattle. Like, there's just not as many words that Albuquerque, Phoenix, Denver. There's just not as many words that rhyme, but Santa Fe is a great rhyming word, or two words. It's a two-word city, but nonetheless, I think that's probably why Prince chose Santa Fe. I don't think he has any special connection with Santa Fe. It just works from a rhyming standpoint and from a structural standpoint. How many syllables that it has just works perfectly for the song. So, he throughout the song, he reminds her that she will always be with him, but it's clear to him that he's conceding defeat in this battle for their relationship. Feels like he's lost her, and now he just wants to tell her how he feels before she leaves. Maybe hoping that a little distance between them may help her understand what's important to her, which of course he hopes what's important to her is him. Maybe it'll backfire and she'll realize she doesn't miss him at all, and she'll never come back. But I think he's hoping that someday she'll take that same train back from Santa Fe into his arms again. And that's kind of how I take the song, although you could definitely take it the other way, where it's like, I love you, I want you to stay, but I don't want you to be unhappy, and I want what's best for you, and if what's best for you is to leave and never look back, then so be it. And he has to kind of accept that difficult reality. You hear some other things that Prince says in the background of the song, like, come on, man, get your bags, let's get out of here. What's wrong, baby? Take this with you. So, again, I don't know. It's really strange to me because all the lyrics that are sung make it clear that he doesn't want her to go. But in all these little asides at the beginning, saying things like, man, tell that girl goodbye, let's get out of here. Or, get your bags, let's get out of here. Or, take this with you. What's wrong? Take this with you. Like, go. I get the sense that there's this bit of struggle, internal struggle. I really love you. I want the best for you. I want you to stay. Versus, man, you know what? If you don't love me, just go. Like, I don't care. Of course, he really does, but he's trying to put on a front. I get a little bit from some of these background lyrics. Or if you take it to mean like it's a supportive friend that is really just trying to say, hey, she wasn't the right one for you anyway. Don't worry about her. You'll find someone else. You know, the things that supportive friends are supposed to say. Anyway, so that's Train. Let's dig into the Parade and Sign of the Times studio sessions book to see what Dwayne Tudall has to say. So this entry is dated Monday, July 7th, 1986, and on this day he recorded both Train and Eggplant, so Eggplant will be my next episode. Prince was often a contradiction of moods, and this is why his music reflected what he was feeling, not just on that specific day, but because he would often record more than one track during a session, it exposed his mood for that specific hour or two. On days like this, his mood seemingly bounced from the serious lyrical longing of Train to the playful tone of Eggplant, which was a testament to the range of his artistic skills. With Prince, his inspirations are often impossible to trace, and because he recorded as much as he did, he had a constant need for something to trigger him to create something new. Although we will likely never know the full story, the title for Train may have come from something as basic as the name on one of his pieces of equipment. What I remember is having a Train sample on the Fairlight, recalls Todd Harriman. It was a stock sound effect on the Fairlight Series 2, and I think we just sequenced it in and triggered the sound on the keyboard, but that set up the groove. Train is a soulful love song about the final time saying goodbye to his partner. Prince created the drums using the Fairlight. Once the bed was built for the track, Prince added bass, guitars, and several synths, including the Fairlight. He also recorded a guide track for the trumpet and sax. Eric Leeds remembers what Prince expected when he recorded his sax parts on the keyboard for songs like Train. He'd occasionally do that. It would depend on if he was there. I can't recall if he was there for that session, so he might have just left it, here's your guide, and made it really easy. We just copied that. Status. Train would be added to a configuration of Dream Factory, but removed when the album was reduced from 3 discs to 2. The following year it was offered to Bonnie Raitt for her shelved Paisley Park album and eventually found a home on Mavis Staples' 1989 album, Time Waits for No One. The version with Prince's vocals remained unreleased during his lifetime. The track for this session was included on the Sign of the Times Super Deluxe edition in 2020. And then on the next day, there was additional overdubs, horn overdubs, on Tuesday, July 8th, 1986. And then even on Wednesday, July 9th, so the third consecutive day, there were more edits. An instrumental version of Train was created, but what they have to say in the book is more specific to Eric Leeds and Atlanta Bliss's contributions to Prince's songs during this era and how important they were. Less so about the actual songs themselves, so I won't read those comments. Hopefully most of you have this book already, and if you don't, it is highly recommended. And I love the series, so hopefully there will be more to come. Okay, so that is what I have to say about Train. I really do enjoy Train. I think it is a fun song. It's upbeat. The chugging train and train sound effects that came from the Fairlight are, sometimes sound effects can be overdone and they deliver more, I don't know, like a dated, cheesy atmosphere. But sometimes they really work. And it provides, because they're so consistent and they're part of the song, like they chug along to the beat of the song. For Train, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. It is a very solid song for me. Train is probably like I don't know if I had to rate it like a 4 out of 5. I enjoy listening to it. I have to familiarize myself more with Mavis's version. I can't imagine it's better. No offense to Mavis. Mavis is an amazing vocalist, but it seemed like when Prince would take some of these songs and deliver them to these legacy artists like Bonnie Raitt, Mavis Staples, Patti LaBelle. I just don't feel like. I feel like sometimes some of the bite is taken out of them. Whether if he's given a song to maybe a younger artist or someone that is more on his peer level instead of someone that he's looking up to. Just a different way of recording. But that's just an opinion of mine. What do you like the Mavis Staples version better than Prince's version? Do you think it is on par, or do you think it is not as interesting? And again, no shade to Mavis, because she's an amazing singer and artist, and the Staples singers are icons, and deservedly belong in any sort of conversation about most important musicians of the 20th century. So that will probably do it for me on Train. This has been the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast. I've been your host, Jason Brenninger. You can find the show at pressrewind.net. And until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye.